For our next segment, I'm actually going to bring on a turtle and shark specialist. We're going to go through very popular movie scenes and we're going to talk about, did Disney and Hollywood get that right? Let me bring on Carlee Jackson.
All right. So guys, my name's Carlee and I'm here in South Florida and I'm a grad student. My grad student research focuses on the effects of tourism on nurse sharks in Belize. And I'm also a marine turtle specialist at a place called Gumbo Limbo Nature Center. And I work with sea turtles there. I work with the beach monitoring. So we help with marking the nests on the beach and monitoring any turtle activity on the beach. And I also help in the sea turtle rehab facility. So doing like medical procedures and things like that.
Cool. All right. So for our first clip, we're going to play The Wonderful World of Finding Nemo. Have you seen this movie?
This is easily my favorite movie.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
we
love
had to
Finding
watch
Nemo.
it. Yeah, we had to watch it from like what, fourth grade to now.
Basically, yeah.
It's how like high school teachers taught biology when they didn't want to teach that day.
Yeah, definitely remember that.
All right, so we are going to play a clip involving the turtles. Crush.
Dory. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. It's my fault.
29:30. Ready or not? Here I come. There you are. Let's get you again.
If you didn't see it or didn't hear, I mean, we all know what happens, right? Nemo is on the back of Crush and's like, oh no, where's Dory? Goes to look for Dory, thinks Dory is hurt. Dory's just playing hide and seek with all the baby turtles. And they're riding on the EAC. So tell us one thing that is factually incorrect about this scene.
So one of my favorite facts about sea turtles in general is when they lay their nests, they usually are laying like at least 5 nests, and each of those have like 100 to 200 eggs in them. So that's like easily almost 1,000 children. They lay those nests and then they leave. They don't think about their little babies. So usually when they're out there, if they do like encounter a baby sea turtle or something, they're not going to know if it's their parents or not. So that is definitely one thing that's factually incorrect on Finding Nemo.
Well, they did have to make it a happy ending, right?
Exactly.
Because,
yeah, for the kids.
Exactly. What is something that this scene or Finding Nemo in general got correct?
Yeah, so the EAC, East Australian Current, is a real thing, and it does help with sea turtle transportation, mostly with hatchlings. So the hatchlings, they don't swim very well, not as well as like adult sea turtles. So they'll hitch a ride on that current, and it'll take them to new habitats where they can feed. And usually they'll grow up in those areas and just make those their foraging grounds. So they got that one right.
Interesting. Now, not to be a downer, but climate change is obviously affecting a lot of different animals by increasing the temperature of the ocean. And now for sea turtles, that actually has some impacts on their gender. Has there been any research or any observations showing that's actually happened?
Yeah, so the research that I help with actually ties directly into that. So we will put temperature monitors inside the actual egg chamber, and once those babies hatch, we'll take them to the lab, and they'll determine if they're female or male. Now, the past, I think, like 3 or 4 years, out of all the experimental nests that we've used, there's been 99 to 100% females. So as you can see that, or as you can probably figure, it's not very good for turtle
Wow.
population because we need some males out there to help keep the population going. So unfortunately, our beaches are getting hotter, especially here in South Florida. So that's definitely taken a toll, or that could be taking a toll on their population in the long run.
Wow. So, what do you do to combat something like that? That seems very difficult.
Yeah, there's the only thing that we can really rely on is like heavy rain season. So like this season is definitely supposed to be a lot of rain coming in, and that definitely helps cool down the sand. Sometimes the turtles will nest in like shady areas if there's like happens to be a large structure shading the sand. That'll help with the that'll definitely get a little bit more males in that specific clutch. But yeah, overall, it is directly linked to climate change, and a lot of our efforts, like reducing carbon emissions, things like that, will help in the long run. In the long run, with our beaches getting heated like that.
Right. All right, let's move on to our second clip. All right, so that was not Jaws. That was a different shark movie, which, all shark
Still a good
movies,
one.
yeah, all shark movies are about attacking humans, aren't they, nowadays? Unless it's like Shark Tales, right? Where it's like,
Right. Yeah,
nice.
that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the reason that I wanted to talk about the Meg is actually because in this particular scene, this Meg, first of all, what is a Meg? It's obviously an abbreviation.
Yeah, so the Meg is the Megalodon shark, and it's a prehistoric shark that is definitely extinct, despite what Shark Week wants to tell you. And they could get as big as a bus. Think of it as a great white shark as big as a huge school bus, like 40 to 50 feet long. So they were definitely the top predators back then.
Oh, wow. So in this particular scene, the megalodon is coming towards a group of beachgoers. It's kind of shallow water. There's the problem there. And
Right.
it's moving really fast. I mean, I don't know how fast sharks can go, but it seems really fast. But the interesting thing about this scene is the beach officials actually put a sound, and then that actually deters the shark. The shark turns around and goes away. Is that plausible?
Yeah, so what they were doing was making, I think, whale sounds, and whales are, for a shark that big, whales are definitely the number one prey for megalodon. So it was attracted to those sounds. But normally, sharks, even when you go like scuba diving, usually you don't see a lot of sharks around because they don't really like loud noises like that. Like the bubbles are too loud, and all the noise that you're usually making with your tank, they don't really like that. So there was a study where they did try to they used different sounds, like the sounds of orcas or just like artificially made sounds, to see if sharks were attracted or deterred. But specifically with the white sharks, the great white sharks, they really didn't see a difference if the shark was deterred or not. They kind of just, sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't. So not really confirmed if certain sounds can either attract or deter sharks, but definitely sounds like the bubbles from your tanks and like your scuba gear. That usually isn't, sharks usually don't like all that sound.
Huh, interesting. So I do want to talk about Jaws. I mean, we don't even need to play a clip to talk about Jaws. I'm just curious. We hear so many wrong things about Jaws. Did Jaws get anything right?
Yeah, so the short list. So I think there is a scene where they're using, can't remember the name of it, but it's almost like a electromagnetic like pulse maker, something like that. And it kind of makes the shark wig out, and it was just going a little crazy. That's true because sharks do have special organs in the front of their face called ampullae of Lorenzi, and it helps them detect electromagnetic signals. But if those like, and it's a very sensitive sensory organ, so if it's like overloaded with a whole lot of stimuli, then they're definitely gonna go a little, they're not gonna like jump out of the water like that, but they're definitely gonna not be, they're gonna go a little bit awry, a little crazy. Another thing that they did get right, I think there's also a kind of a scary scene where the shark kind of rams into the shark cage, and yeah, rams into the shark cage and breaks the shark cage. That can happen. It's not very it's not like a normal thing to happen. But I think there was a video going around where a shark like kind of accidentally wedged himself into a cage or like bent the cage a little. So they're definitely capable of doing that.
Yeah, I actually, maybe we're talking about the same video here, but I saw that video, a video of a shark getting into a cage, but I heard that when a shark bites, it actually goes blind temporarily. So it might have just been confused, and that's
Yeah.
why it got in the cage. Is that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he probably was going after food and missed. And you'll see great white sharks, they have black eyes, like coal black eyes. But when they're going to bite at something, you'll see it turn white. That's because they literally roll their eyes back
Hmm.
into their heads and they're basically blind at that point. So he
Wow.
got a little lost and ended up in the cage.
Wow. What my favorite thing about what people think about sharks, right? People think that sharks are going to eat them when they go into the waters, but in reality, a shark just is pretty much confusing you for a seal or some real piece of food. And all I can think about is how disappointed that shark must be that it thinks it's going to get this like real blubbery, like scrumptious seal, and then it gets like me, like a
Right.
little skinny bony thing, and it's like, man, this just makes me hungrier. Like, what was the point of this? So,
Exactly. Use it as a toothpick.
thank you. Kasha Patel, shark toothpick. Great.
Exactly.
I'll put that on my Twitter from now on. Thank you very much, Carlee. This was
No
great.
problem. No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.